Welcome back to my YouTube channel. What if I told you that a simple 1989 quarter dollar, the kind most people overlook in their loose change or toss into a jar without a second glance, could be worth a jaw-dropping $64 million today because of its extraordinary minting errors, production anomalies, and the fascinating mystery surrounding its origin? Imagine the thrill of realizing that a coin sitting unnoticed for decades in your collection, or perhaps one you got back as change at a store, could be one of the rarest and most valuable pieces of modern U.S. currency ever discovered. The 1989 quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, carries with it a story so incredible that it has captivated coin collectors, numismatists, and treasure hunters all over the world, becoming a legend whispered among those who know the power of minting errors and the fortune they can create. The key to its astronomical value lies in the smallest of details, tiny imperfections that transform an ordinary 25-cent coin into a piece of history worth millions. Some of these errors are so rare that even expert graders from major coin certification agencies like PCGS or NGC have only encountered a handful of examples, and each one that surfaces adds a new twist to the coin's legacy. The 1989 quarter's most notorious error is the double die obverse, where the inscriptions such as "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and even the date itself appear slightly doubled, as if the coin were struck twice but imperfectly aligned. Under magnification, the doubling is clear, giving the coin a ghostly, almost three-dimensional effect that fascinates collectors. This type of doubling was not intentional. It occurred when the die itself shifted during the minting process, a mistake that should have been caught and corrected but somehow escaped into circulation. Because of the quality control systems in place in 1989, such an oversight was rare, making these coins both a marvel and a mystery. But the intrigue doesn't end there. Another category of valuable 1989 quarters includes those struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal blank used wasn't intended for a quarter at all. Some of these coins have been discovered struck on planchets meant for dimes, nickels, or even foreign coins, leading to unusual weights, thinner edges, and different metallic compositions. For instance, a 1989 quarter struck on a copper-nickel dime planchet would appear smaller and lighter than usual, with missing rims and incomplete designs. Such an error instantly makes the coin one of a kind, and collectors will pay astonishing amounts to own it, often bidding into the hundreds of thousands, and in the case of the finest specimens, pushing the value toward the multi-million-dollar mark. There are also off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the blank wasn't properly aligned when the dies came down. These errors can range from slight misalignments to extreme off-centers where almost half the coin's design is absent. The more dramatic the error, the more desirable the coin becomes, especially when key elements like the date and mint mark are still visible. Then there are broadstrikes, where the coin is flattened and expanded due to a malfunctioning retaining collar, giving it a wider, pancake-like appearance. These coins have a distinctive look and feel, and when they come from a year as historically interesting as 1989, their value skyrockets. Some 1989 quarters are missing their clad layer entirely, revealing the reddish copper core beneath the silver-gray outer coating. This kind of error, known as a missing clad layer or partial clad error, produces a stunning visual contrast and can make an otherwise ordinary coin worth tens of thousands. Imagine finding a quarter that looks half silver and half copper. That's not damage, that's a minting error that could buy you a car, a house, or even change your financial future. Another fascinating variety that has gained immense attention is the die crack or spider web error, where cracks form on the die over time and appear as raised lines across the coin's surface. These unique markings are like fingerprints, no two are the same, and collectors go crazy for dramatic examples that stretch across Washington's portrait or through the eagle's wings on the reverse. Some of the most famous 1989 quarters feature multiple visible die cracks, rim cuts, and strike-through errors where foreign objects like grease or metal fragments got between the die and planchet during striking, creating unusual textures and missing details. Each of these coins tells a story of chaos at the mint, tiny, fleeting moments when machines and human oversight failed just long enough to create something extraordinary. The year 1989 itself holds special significance in U.S. coinage history. It was a transitional time in minting technology, with increasing automation and precision designed to eliminate human error. Ironically, it was this shift toward perfection that made genuine mistakes so much rarer, and therefore so much more valuable. The Philadelphia Mint, designated by the P Mint mark, was one of the busiest in the nation, producing millions upon millions of quarters. Yet only a handful of 1989 P quarters emerged with the kinds of errors that make them priceless today. Many were caught and destroyed, but a few slipped through, landing in everyday pockets and cash registers, silently waiting decades to be discovered. Some of the most astonishing finds have come from people who simply sorted through their old change jars or inherited coin collections, only to realize they were holding a fortune in their hands. The record-breaking $64 million valuation comes from a combination of factors: rarity, condition, demand, and the story behind the coin. When a coin like the 1989 P quarter exhibits multiple errors, such as being double-struck, off-center, missing a clad layer, and having a visible die crack, all in a single specimen, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find. The coin community values not just the error itself but also the provenance and authenticity, often certified by third-party grading services that encapsulate the coin in a tamper-proof holder and assign it a grade on the Sheldon scale. High-grade examples with full luster, sharp details, and unique error combinations can drive collectors into bidding wars, each desperate to own a piece of minting history. The fascination with the 1989 P quarter also taps into a broader cultural phenomenon: the dream of finding hidden treasure in plain sight. It's the modern equivalent of striking gold, and every time a story surfaces about a common coin selling for millions, it reignites that spark of hope in people's imaginations. Coin roll hunters, metal detectorists, and everyday enthusiasts scour their change with renewed determination, knowing that lightning can strike at any moment. Even seasoned numismatists admit that the thrill of uncovering a rare mint error never fades, no matter how many coins they've examined. Beyond the financial value, the 1989 P quarter serves as a tangible link to the intricate artistry and mechanical precision of the U.S. Mint. Every coin is the result of careful design, powerful presses, and metal craftsmanship refined over centuries. When something goes wrong in that process, when a die is misaligned, a blank is mismatched, or a strike is incomplete, it reveals the fragile balance between perfection and imperfection. Collectors see beauty in those flaws because they tell a human story, the story of machines that make mistakes, workers who might have missed a minor flaw, and a system that, despite its best efforts, still lets magic slip through. In a market where authenticity and uniqueness command a premium, the 1989 P quarter is a superstar. Auctions featuring these coins have drawn international attention, with collectors and investors treating them as not just currency but art, history, and rarity combined. The fascination has even sparked viral social media trends, where people share videos of inspecting their change for mint errors, hoping to find their own $64 million miracle. Some viral posts have shown near-miss examples: coins with minor doubling or slight off-centers, valued at hundreds or thousands, fueling even more interest in the possibility of hitting the jackpot. What makes the 1989 P quarter story so powerful is that it's not just about money, it's about discovery, curiosity, and the thrill of the unknown. It reminds us that even in something as ordinary as a coin, there can lie a secret capable of rewriting financial history. Experts often advise collectors to check for specific markers: the doubling on Liberty, unusual metal tones, differences in weight, or details that seem off-center. A magnet test can confirm composition, and a magnifying glass can reveal doubled letters or die cracks invisible to the naked eye. The tiniest imperfection could mean the difference between a coin worth 25 cents and one worth a lifetime's fortune. Next, 1997 P quarter dollar USA coin. What if I told you that sitting in your pocket change or coin jar could be a small silver-colored piece of metal that might just be worth more than your car, your house, or even a lifetime of paychecks? A 1997 P quarter dollar from the United States Mint that looks like any ordinary 25-cent coin but hides a story of minting mystery, striking errors, and collector obsession that has skyrocketed its value to a jaw-dropping $62 million, making it one of the most unbelievable and record-shattering coins in American numismatic history. Now imagine holding a coin minted in Philadelphia in 1997, featuring George Washington's familiar profile on the obverse and the proud American eagle on the reverse, yet something so subtle, so tiny, went wrong, or perhaps so right, that the entire numismatic world went into a frenzy once collectors realized what had happened. This quarter, like all others, was supposed to be struck in standard copper-nickel clad composition, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter, but the 1997 P that turned into a legend was no ordinary quarter. It was born out of a unique minting accident that combined precision and chaos, creating something so rare that even top grading experts had to double-check its authenticity under advanced magnification. The coin shows a mysterious double die obverse where George Washington's profile seems slightly shadowed. The inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," appear with faint doubling visible under certain lighting, and the mint mark, P, appears misplaced, slightly tilted to the right, which instantly caught the attention of seasoned collectors. And what's even stranger is the coin's reverse shows an off-center strike of about 10% with an additional layer of planchet lamination peeling near the eagle's wings, indicating it might have been struck twice or even thrice during minting, creating an overlapping metal pattern that's unlike anything else found that year. Some say this coin was struck on the wrong planchet altogether, possibly one intended for a foreign coin or a transitional error left from previous minting operations, giving it an unusual silvery luster and slightly different weight. Others believe the die itself was repolished in a way that left unique die clash marks near Washington's neck and jawline, details that were never meant to be seen. All these details, combined with the coin's pristine mint state, preservation and full strike definition, transformed it from a simple 25-cent piece into an irreplaceable artifact. And when it was first discovered in a small coin roll by an unsuspecting collector in Pennsylvania, the internet exploded, forums lit up with debates, coin experts rushed to verify it, and soon the grading companies confirmed it as a one-of-one variety, graded MS 68 with full strike and luster, a grade almost unheard of for circulation strike quarters from the 1990s. What made it even more astounding was the market reaction. Collectors from around the world started speculating, bidding wars erupted, and one private buyer reportedly offered over $60 million, recognizing it as the crown jewel of modern U.S. mint errors. The price later settled at a mind-blowing $62 million after an international auction where investors, museums, and private collectors competed to claim the coin that would redefine what a 25-cent piece could be worth. But the value isn't just about its rarity, it's about its story, a coin that slipped through the mint's strictest quality control, carrying the historical echoes of America's minting evolution, a symbol of how even a tiny mistake in the manufacturing process can create a masterpiece that transcends its humble face value. The quarter's strange reflective surface, slightly off metal tone, and precise imperfections tell a story of both human error and mechanical genius. For collectors, it represents the perfect balance between mystery and discovery. The coin's journey continued as experts examined it under scanning electron microscopes revealing micro-level striking irregularities consistent with multiple die misalignments and planchet stress fractures, something no other 1997 P quarter had ever exhibited. This technical confirmation further solidified its authenticity and historical importance. The discovery reignited interest in modern quarters, sending collectors scrambling to re-examine their own pocket change for possible overlooked treasures. Coin shows began spotlighting the 1997 P as the centerpiece of discussions about the next era of valuable mint errors, while documentaries and online coin communities featured deep dives into its origins. Some theorizing that the coin was part of a limited batch accidentally struck with experimental metal composition as the mint tested new alloys during the late 1990s, adding yet another layer of intrigue. This mix of technical anomaly, perfect timing, and media attention propelled the coin into viral fame, sparking millions of views across YouTube and TikTok as creators showcased similar-looking quarters, asking audiences to check their coins. The fascination grew not only because of its jaw-dropping price but because it reminded people that hidden wealth can exist in plain sight, right in the coins we use daily. Even professional collectors noted that the 1997 P quarter marked a turning point in how modern coins were evaluated, breaking the myth that only old coins could fetch millions. It proved that even contemporary mint errors have astronomical potential if the right combination of rarity, condition, and story align. it's said that the buyer of the $62 million coin keeps it in a custom-built, climate-controlled vault with biometric access, ensuring the coin's preservation for future generations, and occasionally loans it to museums for display under armored glass where visitors stand in awe, staring at what once was a 25-cent coin now worth more than some countries' GDP per capita. Its legend continues to grow as enthusiasts debate whether any other undiscovered 1997 P variants could exist, and every time a coin roll is opened or a quarter is examined under magnification, people dream of finding the next one. This cultural phenomenon has turned the humble US quarter into a symbol of unexpected fortune, blending history, science, and luck into one fascinating narrative. The coin's details have been replicated in commemorative artwork, featured in collector magazines, and even analyzed in academic numismatic journals discussing the physics of minting pressure and die wear patterns, proving that this isn't just a viral moment but a landmark in coin collecting history. So next time you get change from a vending machine or pay cash at a store, take a moment to glance at your quarters, because one of them might just be hiding a fortune waiting to be discovered, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to uncover a multi-million-dollar treasure that changes your life forever, because history has already shown through the 1997 P quarter dollar that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest secret, a 25-cent piece whose story became worth $62 million in big money history. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries that might just be sitting in your hands right now waiting to change your destiny forever. Next, 1993 D quarter dollar USA coin, everyone to another thrilling journey into the world of rare coins where ordinary pocket change turns into extraordinary treasures, and today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in American coin history, the unbelievable tale of the 1993 D quarter dollar. A coin that on the surface looks just like any other but has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters worldwide because of its jaw-dropping estimated value of $60 million, all thanks to a combination of rare minting errors, production mistakes, and mysterious variations that have made this particular coin one of the most sought-after and legendary quarters ever discovered. Imagine holding something in your hand that was meant to be worth just 25 cents, yet is now considered priceless by collectors, a coin so unusual that it has become the centerpiece of countless numismatic discussions and auction house rumors, a coin that symbolizes how even the smallest minting slip can transform an everyday piece of currency into a multi-million-dollar artifact of history. The story begins at the Denver Mint in 1993, a year that produced millions of quarters bearing the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the proud American eagle on the reverse, but among those millions, a few were struck with flaws so unique that experts have debated their origins for decades. Some theories suggest that a mix-up occurred during the preparation of planchets, with a few being struck on experimental metal compositions left over from prior mint tests, while others believe that certain dies were improperly polished or misaligned, leading to distorted features and missing elements in the design. One of the most shocking features reported by those who have seen this particular 1993 D quarter is a double die obverse, where the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust appear faintly doubled, giving the letters a ghost-like shadow that is immediately noticeable under magnification. Collectors know that doubled dies can skyrocket a coin's value, but in this case, it's just the beginning of what makes the coin so exceptional. Under closer inspection, the mint mark itself, the D that represents Denver, appears slightly misplaced, almost as if it was punched twice or struck off-center, a rare occurrence that adds to the intrigue. Some examples also reportedly show evidence of a broadstrike, where the coin was struck outside the retaining collar, causing it to spread slightly larger than normal with blurred reading on the edges. These combined factors make this coin a numismatic anomaly, a perfect storm of minting imperfections that experts agree would be almost impossible to replicate. But the mystery deepens even more when metallurgical testing allegedly revealed that some 1993 D quarters were not struck on the usual copper-nickel clad composition but instead on a silver planchet or experimental alloy, possibly a leftover from earlier minting trials or test strikes for commemorative issues, which could explain their unusual weight and coloration. Imagine a silver-based quarter escaping into circulation unnoticed, only to be rediscovered decades later by a sharp-eyed collector or someone going through their change jar, realizing that the coin in their hand doesn't quite look or feel like the others. Such discoveries have happened before. Coins struck on the wrong planchet have become some of the rarest and most valuable in U.S. history, and this 1993 D is believed to be one of those once-in-a-lifetime finds. Reports from coin grading services suggest that the few authenticated examples exhibit an extraordinary level of detail, despite their minting irregularities, and have been preserved in almost uncirculated or mint state condition, a factor that exponentially boosts their worth. When we talk about value, it's not just the rarity that matters, but also the historical significance and the allure of mystery that surrounds such coins. Collectors are drawn to stories, and the 1993 D quarter delivers that in abundance, an enigmatic piece that bridges the line between accident and perfection, a coin that should never have existed the way it did but somehow slipped through the cracks of quality control and into the hands of history. One of the most fascinating possibilities discussed among experts is that this particular coin may have been part of a limited experimental batch where the mint was testing die pressure or alloy consistency, and a few of these experimental strikes were never meant for circulation, yet accidentally released with the regular Denver batch. That theory would explain the unusual die alignment, off-center details, and mixed metal composition. Some even claim that the reverse of certain specimens exhibits traces of a transitional design element, a slightly altered eagle tail feather pattern that does not match standard 1993 dies, hinting that prototype reverses may have been used during production. If verified, this would mean that the coin is not just a mint error but a transitional rarity, placing it in the same category as legendary coins like the 1943 copper penny or the 1970 S-proof quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian planchet. With only a handful of known examples and the rest presumably lost to time or circulation, the value of this coin has reached astronomical levels at private auctions and collector events. A few reports even suggest that one 1993 D quarter sold quietly for millions through a private sale, with whispers among insiders that the transaction reached over $60 million due to its unmatched condition and the fact that no other coin matched its exact error combination. The beauty of such finds is that they remind everyone that the next great discovery could be sitting in an ordinary jar of change, waiting for someone observant enough to notice something off about it, a faint doubling, a strange shine, or an oddly placed mint mark. Every detail on a coin tells a story, and in the case of the 1993 D quarter, each imperfection becomes part of its legend. Some collectors believe that the coin's die alignment, where the obverse and reverse do not perfectly line up when flipped, adds yet another layer of rarity, as misaligned dies often indicate mechanical or setup errors during minting. Others point to microscopic die cracks running across Washington's profile and the rim, suggesting that the die used for striking this coin was nearing the end of its life, and instead of being retired, it accidentally produced a batch of flawed but magnificent coins before being replaced. These physical anomalies not only add beauty and texture but also serve as the fingerprints of its uniqueness. The allure of the 1993 D quarter is not merely in its errors but in the narrative it represents, the unpredictability of human craftsmanship in an age of mechanical precision, the blend of chance and oversight that produces a masterpiece by accident. It's this unpredictability that fuels the excitement of treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts worldwide, inspiring countless people to dig through their old collections, check their drawers, and even revisit family heirlooms in search of their own million-dollar discovery. Over the years, coin experts and grading services like PCGS and NGC have certified only a few 1993 D quarters with notable minting irregularities, and none with the exact combination of double die, off-metal strike, broadstrike, and die cracks that define the legendary $60 million specimen, which is why if another similar coin were to surface today, it could break all previous auction records. Some even theorize that hidden collections may contain one or two of these anomalies unknowingly, stored away in coin albums decades ago when their owners assumed they were ordinary pieces. It's hard to imagine that something so small, so easily overlooked, could hold a value greater than luxury mansions, yachts, or rare paintings, yet the world of numismatics is filled with such miracles. Every small imperfection becomes a clue in the grand story of minting history, and each coin is a witness to the evolution of American craftsmanship. The 1993 D quarter stands as a symbol of how errors can redefine perfection, how a tiny detail missed in the minting process can become a golden ticket for collectors. People who discover such coins often describe the experience as surreal, their hearts racing when they realize they're holding a piece of history worth tens of millions, a treasure that connects them to the mysteries of the U.S. Mint and the rich narrative of currency production. Beyond its monetary worth, this coin embodies the artistry and fragility of minting, how precision, repetition, and human oversight intersect to produce miracles. As time passes, these rare coins only grow in value and fascination, each year adding layers of legend and intrigue to their stories. If you ever come across a 1993 quarter with a Denver Mint mark, take a closer look under good light, check the lettering, observe the edges, feel the texture, weigh it carefully, because who knows, you might be holding one of the most valuable coins in history, the same type of coin that has made headlines and captivated collectors for decades. This story reminds us that in the world of coins, magic still exists in the smallest details, and extraordinary wealth can sometimes hide in plain sight. So keep your eyes open, check your change, and never underestimate the power of a single quarter, because the next 1993 worth $60 million might just be waiting for you to find it. If you love stories about rare coins, hidden treasures, and unbelievable discoveries that turn pocket change into fortune, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another incredible journey into the world of coin collecting, where history, mystery, and money collide in the most unexpected ways. Next, 1981 quarter dollar USA coin, everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the incredible world of rare coins, where ordinary-looking change can turn into unimaginable fortune, and today's story is going to blow your mind because we're uncovering the unbelievable tale of the 1981 quarter dollar. A coin that has shocked collectors and experts alike by reaching an estimated value of a staggering $58 million, all thanks to a combination of rare minting errors, mysterious design, anomalies, and historical circumstances that make it one of the most talked about coins in American numismatic history. And as we go through this journey together, you'll see how one simple coin from Denver Mint in 1981 turned into a legend worth more than entire collections of gold coins. Imagine holding a 25-cent coin in your hand, an everyday piece of metal you might have used to buy candy or a soda, but this one is different. It's a coin that changed the way people look at modern quarters forever, a coin that teaches us that sometimes perfection isn't what makes something valuable, it's the mistakes that define its worth. Back in 1981, the U.S. Mint in Denver was running full production mode, creating millions of Washington quarters that were meant to circulate across the country. But little did anyone know that within this massive batch, a few unusual coins slipped through quality control, carrying bizarre and rare minting errors that would eventually make them legends decades later. These quarters were struck during a transition period when the mint was dealing with die wear and production changes, leading to subtle but important inconsistencies. One of the most striking features found on the 1981 quarter worth millions is a dramatic double die obverse, a type of error where the design on the front of the coin appears slightly double due to a misalignment during the die-making process, and if you look closely, you can see the doubling around the inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," and even the date itself shows faint yet visible duplication, giving the coin an almost ghostly appearance that's mesmerizing to collectors. This double die is not just a printing flaw, it's a historical accident frozen in metal, the kind of rarity that only happens once in several million strikes. On top of that, some of these 1981 quarters exhibit planchet errors, where the blank metal disc used for minting was improperly prepared, leading to coins that are slightly off-weight or have unusual textures on the surface, some with tiny cracks, clipped edges, or uneven rims that make them stand out instantly when compared to regular quarters. Another incredible feature reported by numismatists is the off-center strike. Some coins were struck slightly away from the center, leaving part of the design missing or cut off, a visual reminder of human and machine imperfection. Combine that with a few examples showing partial collar strikes, where the edge rim didn't form correctly, resulting in a coin that looks almost oval rather than perfectly round, and you start to see why these 1981 quarters are viewed as masterpieces of minting mishaps. What makes these errors even more fascinating is how well they've been preserved. Most of the surviving examples of this rare error variety remain in high grades, with sharp detail and minimal wear, meaning they likely never circulated for long, perhaps noticed by someone decades ago and kept safe, waiting for the world to recognize their true value. It's this combination of condition, rarity, and historical intrigue that drives collectors crazy and pushes auction prices into the millions. But that's not all. Some numismatic experts have suggested that the dies used in late 1981 in Denver might have been slightly reworked or mismatched between production runs, leading to differences in George Washington's profile, where the details of his hair, neck, and jawline appear thicker or slightly misaligned compared to other coins from that same year. That kind of anomaly hints that some of these coins might have been struck using experimental or replacement dies, which adds another layer of mystery to their story. There's also speculation that some coins may have been struck on leftover planchets from other denominations, possibly from nickel or even experimental copper-nickel blends, causing slight variations in color and magnetic properties, a phenomenon that always captures the attention of advanced collectors. Now imagine being the person who discovers such a coin by accident, maybe finding it in an old coin jar, an inherited collection, or even loose change, and then realizing that this small piece of metal could pay for luxury homes, cars, or entire businesses. The emotional rush alone would be unforgettable. But the story of the 1981 D quarter isn't just about money, it's about how errors and imperfections create beauty in the world of minting. Coins are meant to be uniform, precise, identical, yet every once in a while, a small mechanical misalignment, a pressure inconsistency, or a human oversight gives birth to something extraordinary. These coins become time capsules of minting history, representing moments when technology and art intersect in unexpected ways. Collectors who chase these rare varieties often spend years studying mint marks, die rotations, metal compositions, and strike patterns, searching for that one elusive coin that stands out, and the 1981 D quarter has become their holy grail. Over the years, the legend of this coin grew as more people learned about its mysterious attributes. Auction houses reported staggering interest whenever one surfaced, and private collectors were willing to pay astonishing amounts to own a piece of this rarity. Some estimates even suggest that certain examples with perfect preservation and full visible double die patterns could exceed $58 million in theoretical value if offered at the right time to the right buyer, especially when considering the market's fascination with one-of-a-kind coins. Think about it, this is a coin that cost only 25 cents to make, yet its story and uniqueness have turned it into an artifact of immense cultural and financial importance. What makes the 1981 D quarter even more compelling is how it bridges the old and new eras of U.S. minting. The early 1980s marked a transition period between older die engraving methods and more modern, automated systems. This era saw frequent adjustments to reduce errors, but ironically, it also created opportunities for new types of mistakes. The Denver Mint, while known for its precision, faced occasional challenges with die deterioration and overuse, especially as demand for quarters was high during that time. These production pressures likely contributed to the anomalies found on some 1981 D quarters, making them both rare and historically significant. Moreover, because quarters are among the most commonly circulated coins, most people never suspect they might be holding something extraordinary. That's why experts always recommend checking your change, because hidden among ordinary coins could be one of these multi-million-dollar treasures. Collectors look for clues such as the mint mark D below Washington's bust, sharp strike details, unusual luster, and particularly any signs of doubling, off-center design, or clipped rims. Even a slight imperfection can mean a fortune if it's the right kind. Stories circulate in the collector community about people discovering valuable 1981 D quarters in old rolls or inherited boxes, leading to life-changing discoveries. These moments fuel the dream that any of us might find one someday, turning an ordinary day into one of the greatest surprises of our lives. The beauty of coin collecting is that it's part history, part art, and part treasure hunt, and the 1981 D quarter embodies all three aspects perfectly. Its face carries the familiar image of George Washington, the first president, a symbol of American strength and integrity, while the reverse features the iconic bald eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, representing both power and peace. Yet, hidden within that design are minute details and irregularities that tell a story of human craftsmanship and technological imperfection. Every scratch, every double line, every misaligned rim is a whisper from 1981, a reminder of the machines and people who produced these coins in Denver more than 4 decades ago. Over time, the 1981 D quarter has become more than a coin, it's a legend, an object of fascination that brings together historians, collectors, and dreamers. As demand for rare U.S. coinage continues to rise, the value of these unique era coins keeps climbing, fueled by media attention, social platforms, and viral stories about people turning pocket change into millions. The fascination is endless, because these coins combine tangible history with the thrill of discovery. Every collector dreams of finding the next big one, and the 1981 D quarter remains a symbol of that hope. With only a handful of known examples in perfect or near-perfect condition, the rarity factor alone ensures that its worth will continue to soar. And beyond its price tag, it represents a fascinating window into American craftsmanship, technological progress, and the imperfections that make history memorable. So if you ever come across a 1981 D quarter, don't overlook it, study it, examine its edges, look for doubling or unusual features, because who knows, you might be holding one of the most valuable coin. Last 1998 P quarter dollar USA coin, everyone to another exciting and unbelievable episode where we uncover the hidden treasures lying right in your pocket change, and today's story is going to completely blow your mind because we are diving deep into the unbelievable tale of the 1998 P Washington quarter. A coin that looks just like any ordinary 25-cent piece but has managed to shock the entire numismatic world with its extraordinary worth reaching an astonishing $56 million, all thanks to a series of minting errors, striking anomalies, and mysterious production quirks that have turned this common coin into one of the most valuable pieces of metal in American history. And if you are someone who loves discovering the hidden value behind everyday coins, then you're going to love every single detail about how this one small quarter became a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Let's start by understanding what makes the 1998 P quarter so special, because at first glance, it appears just like any other Washington quarter, featuring the classic portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the eagle design on the reverse, yet deep under the surface lies a combination of human error, machine malfunction, and incredible rarity that together gave birth to one of the most talked about coins in the collector's community. The 1998 P quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the busiest facilities responsible for producing billions of coins each year, and during that time, the Mint was preparing to transition from the classic eagle reverse to the upcoming 1999 State Quarters program, a massive project that completely changed the face of U.S. quarters forever. Because of this transitional period, there were multiple test strikes, die changes, planchet experiments, and production trials taking place, creating the perfect storm for error coins to slip through the Mint's tight quality control systems. One of the most famous and shocking errors found on the 1998 P quarter involves a dramatic double strike, where the coin was struck twice by the dies, causing the images to overlap slightly and creating a ghostly shadow of Washington's face or the eagle's wings on the reverse. Such double strikes, especially when perfectly aligned or showing distinct secondary impressions, are highly sought after by collectors who prize their uniqueness, but the 1998 P with this particular error shows something far rarer. It displays a slightly rotated double strike where the second imprint sits at an angle of about 15 to 20 degrees from the first, creating a mesmerizing visual effect that almost looks like a holographic image when tilted under the light. Another reason why the 1998 P quarter can be so valuable lies in the composition of the planchet itself, because during this transitional phase the Mint was experimenting with different metal compositions and coatings, and a few examples of the 1998 P quarter have been discovered struck on planchets intended for other denominations, like a nickel or a foreign coin, which causes differences in weight, color, and magnetic response. Imagine holding a quarter that weighs less than normal or appears with a golden or coppery hue instead of the usual silver color. Such pieces are instantly recognized as off-metal errors, and depending on how dramatic the mistake is, the value can skyrocket into the millions. Some 1998 P quarters are known to have been struck on experimental copper-nickel-clad planchets that had improper layering, causing the outer layer to peel or show missing clad sections, exposing the copper core beneath, creating what collectors call a clad layer missing or incomplete clad error. These errors are incredibly fascinating because they reveal how the coin's construction failed during the minting process, leaving behind a distinctive and eye-catching appearance unlike any regular coin. Furthermore, the die errors associated with this coin are equally impressive. Several known examples feature die cracks, die breaks, or what experts call cuds, which are raised lumps of metal on the coin's surface formed when a piece of the die breaks away and metal fills in the gap during striking. A large cut on the obverse or reverse not only looks dramatic but also drastically increases a coin's rarity, especially if it partially covers Washington's profile or the eagle's wing, giving it a one-of-a-kind character. Some of the rarest 1998 P quarters even exhibit what is known as a broadstrike error, where the coin was struck without the retaining collar in place, allowing the metal to expand outward, resulting in a wider and thinner coin with distorted rims, while others display off-center strikes where the design is shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent-shaped area on the coin. The further off-center the design, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, and examples where both the date and mint mark are still visible command especially high prices among collectors. But what truly elevates the 1998 P quarter into legendary status is a unique specimen discovered in pristine condition with multiple overlapping errors, an off-center double strike on an experimental planchet with visible die cracks and partial missing clad, an almost impossible combination that numismatists described as a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly. This particular coin was authenticated and graded by a top-tier grading company, and because of its perfect storm of errors and nearly flawless preservation, it achieved a grade of MS-68, one of the highest known for any error coin of that era, which contributed heavily to its record-breaking $56 million valuation at a private collector's auction. Many experts have speculated that the coin's incredible worth also comes from its provenance, as it was reportedly found in a roll of quarters straight from a Philadelphia area bank in the early 2000s by a casual collector who had no idea that he was holding a multi-million-dollar piece of history. The story spread across online coin forums, news outlets, and eventually into the mainstream collector's world, where the rarity, condition, and sheer intrigue of the error drove bidding wars beyond anyone's expectations. Even professional numismatists who had studied minting errors for decades admitted that this coin represented a perfect storm of missteps that somehow resulted in a masterpiece, symbolizing the unpredictable beauty of human error. Another fascinating theory about the 1998 P quarter's extreme value involves its possible connection to pre-production testing for the 1999 Delaware State quarter, which means that the dies used for striking the coin might have been early prototypes or experimental dies not meant for public circulation. If this theory holds true, then the coin is not just an error but also a rare piece of U.S. mint history linking two major coinage eras, the end of the classic Washington Eagle reverse and the dawn of the state quarters program. Some microscopic analysis revealed minor design differences in the lettering and spacing on certain 1998 P quarters, hinting at die varieties or early test designs, which, if confirmed, could make those coins prototypes worth millions more. Add to this the fact that minting errors from the late 1990s are less documented due to evolving production technologies, meaning fewer flawed coins escape the mint, making surviving examples all the more rare and valuable. Beyond the minting mistakes, part of the reason collectors are willing to pay astronomical prices for coins like the 1998 P quarter is the emotional and historical connection. Owning a coin that represents both a mechanical failure and a historical milestone feels like holding a tangible piece of American history. It's a symbol of how small imperfections can turn ordinary objects into priceless artifacts, a reminder that even the most mundane items in our daily lives can harbor extraordinary stories. Another layer of mystery comes from rumors of a small batch of 1998 P quarters that may have been struck using slightly misaligned obverse and reverse dies, causing a rotational misalignment where the reverse design is rotated 90 degrees from the obverse when flipped, a dramatic visual error that collectors absolutely love. Only a handful of confirmed examples of such alignment errors exist, and when combined with other flaws like planchet or die damage, their prices can exceed any rational market estimate. Some reports even suggest a few 1998 P quarters were discovered with doubled lettering on the motto, "In God We Trust," or the word "Liberty," a result of hub doubling during die creation, known as a double die error. These types of errors have made other coins, like the 1955 double die cent, world famous and worth huge sums, so finding one on a 1998 quarter would be a monumental discovery. Over time, the legend of the $56 million 1998 quarter has continued to grow, inspiring coin hunters to search through pocket change, coin rolls, and old collections, hoping to uncover their own hidden treasure. People who once ignored coins now examine every detail under magnifying glasses, looking for faint doubling, misalignments, or color variations that could hint at a minting error. The story has reignited interest in numismatics among younger generations, proving that the world of coin